Let's talk about the team that you need to have in place. There are 6 people you need to set up before you even begin looking for a property. Because once you tie up a property, things move very quickly, and you want to get all those people in a row before you start, otherwise you're going to be playing from behind instead of getting in front of things. The structural engineer is the person that inspects the property and makes sure there's no deficiencies. He's going to tell you if there's anything wrong with the property and if you should walk away, or if you can use some of that information to maybe lower the price because you're going to have to pay for it after you buy the property. The next person you need is the environmentalist. He's going to inspect the property from a perspective of any environmental issues. So is there any hazardous waste on the property? Is there any contamination in the soil? This person is vitally important because even if there's contamination in the soil, for example, and you didn't cause it, let's say your neighbor had a gas station there and the gas station tank leaked over, in most places, you are liable for remediation, and this can cost millions of dollars. Now, the appraiser is kind of self-explanatory. They're going to give you a valuation of the property from your perspective. I generally don't think these offer a lot of value because I'm going to do my own analysis and not rely on what an appraiser says. But again, the banks need this. You're not going to get financing without it. And you also want to pick an appraiser that you can talk to up front and give them the numbers and say, hey, listen, just give me a rough idea of what you're going to appraise this at. Because the last thing you want is to pay for that appraisal and then the appraiser values the property at so much below what you're paying that you can't finance it. Now, your insurance agent. You want to get this guy lined up in advance because he can tell you what he can get for insurance. What a lot of people will do, they'll look at the property insurance that's already in place and say it's $1,000. They'll say, okay, I can get it for $1,000. So I'm going to use that number in my analysis. That's not what you want to do because a lot of groups have big insurance policies across multiple properties and they can get discounts that you might not be able to get. So you don't want to assume that it's $1,000 and then you, if this is your first time property, when you go to the insurance company, they're going to say, well, you don't have a lot of properties. Why would I give you this insurance policy for $1,000? We're going to give it to you for $2,000. Okay, now let's talk about your lawyer. This person is going to be one of the most important people on your team because he's going to review the purchase contract, he's going to review all the leases in place, and any other issues such as title, zoning, caveats on your property that could cause you a lot of problems. You do not want to go into contract until your lawyer has done all the diligence and saved you a potential headache down the road. I know some people like to avoid this cost up front and deal with it later, but I promise you, you will save a lot of money if you get this done in advance. The last person you need on your team is your lender, the person who's going to finance the property. Now I'm going to give you a quick tip. This is not the same person that you deal with at the bank. Do not talk to these people. They don't know how to get financing for commercial properties, unless, like, if you're buying a house or a one-off condo, that's different. So here's what you do instead. I would first contact mortgage brokers and see if you can get somebody who understands commercial property. That's not too difficult. Or the other thing I really like to do lately is go on LinkedIn and I'll actually type in their search engine, RBC lender or TD lender or Bank of America lender. And then I'll contact that person and say, hey, do you know in your company who I can reach out to for this property? If you found this video useful, I appreciate it if you like, comment, or subscribe because I'm going to have a lot more videos coming out and you don't want to miss it.